Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Finding Freedom. In this episode, we're going to discuss my secrets to, marketing success. Let me adjust the camera here. So, being that I got into some trouble because I didn't want to promote Ozempic because it was causing thyroid tumors and cancer, and certain people got upset and they said things under their breath while they were on stage, like, oh, we have the marketing department down on lock, just like I guess they have the medical community down on lock. I figured, well, since I can't be in the marketing field, I might as well share my marketing secrets that delivered an 1100% return to national debt relief. How I increased Atkins Nutrition's registrations by over 200% and costs and their CPC costs down by 56%, give or take, and how I had so much success within marketing, increasing the revenue of the business. So let's get into it, shall we? When it comes to marketing, there's certain areas, but let's talk about advertising because it's the first part of this section that I want you to focus on. Now, when it comes to advertising and getting people to your website or your business, you have to realize that people have their own internal voice. And within marketing, there is something called copywriting. So what you have to understand is that there's a couple things. One, when you propose a question, it gets people to think of that thing, right? Are you looking to lose weight this summer? Are you looking to be in the best shape ever this summer? Then they stop and think to themselves, yeah, I am looking and I'm thinking about getting in the best shape this summer, so on and so forth. So they click on the advertisement and it goes to a weight loss page or a fitness page or whatever the case may be. Now, if you were to go ahead and write the body of the advertisement, the text on top, not the headline, but if you were to write the body, not only answering the question, but writing in a way that when people read it, right, since they have their own internal dialogue. For instance, if you were to say, I look good silently in your head, whose voice is that? That's the voice that I'm referring to. Now, when you write in a way where people, when they're reading, it sounds like they're speaking to themselves, they will actually believe more so and trust more so in the words and the context that's being presented. So let's say the creative, we'll stick with, topics like getting in shape, fitness, so on and so forth, etc., or finance, right? Let's talk about how you have a picture of someone before your advice, right? And they're dressed like either a bum or a plain person with t-shirt and shorts on. And then on the opposite side that says after your advice, they're in a business suit and they're standing outside and there's a nice Aston Martin out there, right? The obvious before and after picture, right? That might get someone's attention because they're looking to go from pain towards pleasure. And the picture that was presented of the average Joe Schmo or the average Jane Jill, so on and so forth, being presented as, some goddess or some god on the other side in the business world, may be appetizing or aesthetically pleasing to the eye because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Now that you understand a little bit about creative, right? The images and the video that tell a story or that gets people's attention, getting them to stop, what are they going to read? Are they going to read a question that makes them guess or ask themselves that very thing or provide an answer? And then, of course, in the body of the copy, so on and so forth, are you going to provide them an answer in a way that is written so that it sounds like they are speaking to themselves? So let's say you want to get into shape, so on and so forth, etc., or you're selling a fitness course, etc. And it would say, are you looking to have the best beach body this summer? That's the question. Yes. And it has a before and after picture, or a person or a couple that are in shape having a good time on the beach, etc., hence the beach body experience, etc., whatever the case may be. Then, of course, in the body of the advertisement, it says something along the lines of, I was once 20 pounds overweight, and once I was overweight and I realized that I couldn't do standard activities and I didn't feel comfortable with things like taking off my shirt at the beach and hanging around others that were having a good time, that were always having fun, where I seemed to always, lose energy. I wanted to make a change in my life. So I decided to enjoy the benefits of being a part of the Beachbody or the Beachbody Experience program by whomever. Now, when people read this, they're going to read it in their own internal dialogue, as well as hear it in their own internal voice. This will not only increase the chances of success when it comes to the advertisement, but increase the chances of those people clicking through. Now, what you can do with this is compile it with a couple questions, right? Different headlines, in other words. If you're on Google's PPC, or if you're doing social media, they have something called dynamic creative optimization, as well as responsive search advertisements. Now, what this does is it mixes up the titles along with the creative to find the best match based upon the data that the algorithm acquires. Remember, you're not going to beat the algorithm. Yes, creative is the variable of success, but when you're speaking to the masses, you might as well leverage the algorithm in your favor. And since the algorithm knows what people are attracted to and what they pay attention to based upon data and information, it would behoove you. In other words, I would strongly recommend that you do responsive search ads as well as dynamic creative optimizations. This will go ahead and do a mix and match of all the different creatives, the images and videos, and the copy, the headlines and the body of text that you put with the advertisement. And as it mixes and matches them, it finds the best combination for different individuals that it's showing the advertisement to. Now, when you're showing people these advertisements, make sure you're writing in that voice that I spoke about so that when they read it, they understand what's being said and they accept it more. Leverage the algorithm in your favor because it knows more than you do. Let's face it. How many people have relied on AI and technology in order to better their future? Might as well use it when you're marketing, right? Now, when you do this, you can then find a little grouping of, well, the headlines that got the most text. Let's say you put 5 headlines, 5 different scripts in there, and a couple images and photos. Well, you take the top 3 of the best, right? So the top 3 images and videos, the top 3 headlines, and the top 3 pieces of script within the body that did the best. And you put that into a separate campaign, otherwise known as a conversion campaign, right, to generate profits or money. And this will lower the cost of conversion as well as the cost of your clicks. Why? Because it's not only been tested and proven, but you already know based upon the sample size of the traffic campaign that you ran earlier or the advertisements that you ran earlier, utilizing all the different scripts, headlines, and creatives that are out there. So this has been the first episode or lesson when it comes to marketing. I was going to put this in a little program, but being that, certain people got rubbed the wrong way because I didn't want to, sell something that causes thyroid tumors and cancer so that they could put more money in their pocket. And so they made sure I couldn't do certain things. I wanted to share these secrets and tactics with you because let's face it, business is about making money. And if you can't make money, you're going to lose your business. And then, of course, there's people out there that want to cut corners. Not only cut corners, they say cutting corners is cheating. And if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Cheating is completely different. Cutting corners is literally just stealing from somebody else. How many people have an original thought or idea and then steal that idea for themselves? Because let's face it, the people with the money will always end up with the money. And the people with the ideas and the knowledge, well, they'll normally be left broke. So what I want to do is I want to help you, especially if you're in business, or let's say you have a business loan or something like that, right? And you have to pay back that business loan, right? Well, the only way to do that is to generate revenue. Well, my name's Michael. I'm here to help. This is Finding Freedom, and I hope that I can help you generate more revenue in the oncoming episodes that are to come. So, till next time, my friends, take care. Have a great day. Mwah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.